Hello and welcome to the Foxcatcher AFL show. My name's Julian Valens, joined as always by Bernie Vince. Bernie, let's get into the review of last week and just overall the last 3 weeks. We're seeing that colder weather, but I think this provides a bit of an opportunity for us. Red footy, dry conditions, good teams, green light, hit the overs. Have a look at the numbers here. You can see, from those rounds, we're seeing that the unders is hitting a lot. Yep. Okay, so what happens when the unders hits a lot? The modelling that puts up the prices brings the total point lines down, and we're seeing it this week in particular. There's low total point lines because the conditions are obviously a little bit ordinary. But we get conditions like we had with Brisbane versus GWS and obviously Gold Coast versus GWS. Look at the points.
How good. And you are the weatherman. You do like to look ahead and predict these things. So red footy, as you say, red footy, sun out, overs, and especially those teams that have been in the majority of overs this year. Gold Coast always up there. The Giants are in a bit of a run of overs as well. So Adelaide, Hawthorn, these sort of teams, the Bulldogs, they're the watch. And if there's any sort of good weather or it's under the roof, overs is your man.
Absolutely. So I think we need to play into that space. So let's look out for that. Let's get to a team that we want to identify, and they're starting. Look, they were pretty good last week.
Are they
back? Off the bye. No, they're not back. This is the thing. Okay, so this is the thing. But look at the run home or the next four. Yep. Let's look at the next four. They're $11 to make the 8, so they're not making it. So for punters out there and viewers out there, we're not suggesting that. But how many of these games do you think they can win after their performance last week when they were off the bye? And teams off the bye are going pretty well too.
Yeah, 3 of the next 4 at home. That's the key. But a couple of tough ones there. Bulldogs and Fremantle in pretty good form. St Kilda, you'd think they'd win away. I'll give them a chance with that one. North Melbourne, you'd think they'd win as well. So I'm 2-2 if you're asking me to put a number on it. But they've got the potential. They looked a better team last week. Goulden and Papley come in. Their kicking was horrendous, by the way, in that first quarter. 9 goals, 17 they kicked. So they could have really put Port Adelaide away. But they looked a better team than we've seen. I know you wrote Sydney off really early, so you don't like me saying that, but I think they might be back.
OK, they're definitely not. I can assure you of that. But here's a market that's exclusive to PointsBet, and this is why we're talking about Sydney, is because they're in the frame here to finish 9th. Best of the rest. Now, the Suns and the Giants probably flipped here last week when we did this market just because of what happened with the Giants beating the Suns. But in essence, the Giants were favourites anyway. I know marginal favourites. So is there a team here that you want to play in? Because I think there's 2 teams I want to play with here at this market.
I mentioned the Giants last week, and I know they had a win on the weekend, but I still feel like that 9th position is theirs. They're my favourite. Gold Coast got a game up their sleeve, and they play very well at home. I can't see the Gold Coast Suns missing the 8. They can't miss, can they?
They'll make the 8. Giants and Hawthorn are the bets here in this one. Hawks against the best struggle, so I reckon they might fall off the cliff late in the season. A man who's absolutely flying, and Fremantle in that picture as well, Luke Jackson. He was dominant on the weekend, and look at the prices you could have got at PointsBet. 21
disposals, 3 goals. He had 10 clearances as well. He's like an extra mid when he rucks, so I don't know what Melbourne are doing. They got to get him back, I reckon. Max scoring 33. There was talk he was keen to come home. I'd be making the most of that if we could, but geez, he was good on the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get to round 16 action, Thursday night. Port Adelaide versus Carlton. Now, here's 2 teams that have been disappointing all year. We talk about hitting market expectation. Well, these 2 teams haven't hit it at all. 8 times I think Port Adelaide have missed. Carlton have missed 9 times. They're 2 teams we cannot trust. Can you trust either of them?
No, I can't at all. Port Adelaide, for me, scoring is still a big problem. They scored 93 the other week against Melbourne. Good conditions, but Mitch Georgiadis kicked 7. They still only just get to 90 points. Last week, 52. Weeks before that, 66, 51 and 39. They just can't score. And Carlton are a bit similar. Been in a lot of unders games. I can't see this not being an unders game, being a night game as well in Adelaide.
Yeah, I like that. 164.5 is the total point line now. As we spoke about, Port Adelaide sort of averaging 75, Carlton 80. You talk about the night game, recent games as well at this venue, 178, 144. So it sits sort of, mid-150s. Last 3 games, Port Adelaide have struggled to score as well. We're going to be with the unders with this game. I think that's going to be our play. If you're having a bet, please make sure it's a sharp one. Bernie's had a sharp one with the unders. I'm with him. We're in agreement. We'll see you soon.
You win some, you lose more. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.